Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back, and as always, huge massive thank you for the support. I really do appreciate it. So I'm coming back again today with a last little play with the members free gift bundle. So today I'm going to be playing with the bite-sized book of Timeless Poinsettias. I've also just bought out all of, well, not all of them, there's still some more there, but some of the little bits that I had left over. A little bit of insert paper, tags. I've got 3 sheets of full paper, lots of little bits. I'm going to take that one out because I need it for this first card, and then I've got all of the foiled cardstock there as well, so I'm going to be using some of that to make my cards today. So let's pop that to the side for a second, and I'm going to start by bringing in my scoreboard, and I've got a piece of 300 GSM cardstock. That is 4 1/4 by 11, and I'm going to score at 5 1/2 to make my A2 card, and then I'm going to score at 2 1/2, 3 and 2 3/4. This is going to make this cute little easel card. So we'll bring that little burnishing tool in and just give those a really nice burnish down. And our card is going to be like a half easel, so I'm not going to put another piece on top, but you could if you wanted to. But I'm just going to have it like so. So let's bring in my my trimmer, sorry. And I have got a piece of some gold mirror card here. So I'm going to take a piece that's going to be 4 and 2 notches, or 4 1/8 of an inch by 5 1/2 minus 2 notches, or 1/8 of an inch. And that is going to be our piece for the bottom there. That will go into my bit box side here, and then this piece here is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. So let's just see, so that should be fine that way. 4 and 2 notches, yes. And then 2 3/4 minus 2 notches, or 1/8, or you could see it as 2 1/2 plus 2 notches. And that's that piece that's going to go on there. Now this little piece of insert paper, I believe it is, I might need a little bit of a trim, so it needs to be 4 inches, sorry, creaky chair again, 4 inches by 5 1/4, and this should be a beautiful fit for there. And then if I just swap back to my other trimmer, just because it's better for the cardstock, the guillotine is better for the papers. And then I'm going to take this foiled cardstock with this lovely plank detail, which I absolutely love, and then I'm going to cut a piece that's 2 1/2 inches by 4. And I want the planks going across horizontally. If you want them to go vertically, then just cut them sort of down that way rather than the way that I have. That's a piece of gold that's left over. Let's put that there for now. Okay, so let's do a little bit of assembling. So the glues I'm going to be using, I've got the Kalau all-purpose glue, which is this clear alcohol based glue. I've got my Kalau tacky glue, which is my sort of PVA water based glue. Sorry, it's just a little bit gunked up. I've got my Dossi tape pen, purple glue stick, and I think that's probably all that you're going to see me use today. So I do say it's worth repeating because I do get questions. I use 2 glues. That's just the way I like to work for these videos. But both of these glues work pretty well on most of these. With the papers, I wouldn't recommend the tacky glue. Although if you've got a really light touch, you can get away with it with the papers, the Matte-tastic ones, not the shiny ones. The shiny ones probably will bubble up. I don't think I've ever gotten away with it with the shiny ones. So let's just give that a really good press down, because I do want that to be a functional insert as well as decorative. And then just a little bit of tacky on those corners, a little bit all-purpose in the middle. And we can pop that on. Sorry if you're catching my reflection there. My hair is a bit wild today. And again with that glue in the corner, like I say, having that going across like so. So that is the start of my little easel. Put those to the side. So I decided I was going to use this frame, which I'm pretty sure came out of this set. If not, you can pick any frame that you've got that you like, that works with the pictures in the book or whatever book you're using. So I decided to go with the Christmas tree on this one. Now, I am not going to back this onto cardstock behind here. I am going to have it coming over the top of my card. It is going to be strong enough. Let me just pop these dots on. But if you are at all worried about it, or if you're sending it to someone that you know is going to fiddle with it a lot, then it's worth backing it onto cardstock and then just trimming around it. So I'm just going to make sure I've got those presents in at the bottom there. I'm not going to be decoupaging any of this. If you do get any dots on it like there, you can come in just with your ruler, not your ruler, your eraser. Although that's taken the shine off, which is a bit of a disappointing. Turn out. Oops. I've had that happen before. Let's just discard that one. I know I have got another one the same shape, maybe slightly thinner frame. Let's have a look, see what we've got here. So just be careful with your frames. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with this that's going to fit onto there quite nicely, maybe even better than what I thought it was going to be. And it's also going to be easy to trim around. Okay, let's try again. Third time lucky, guys. I'm keeping this in just so you know not to use your glue eraser on the frames, or maybe it's just those ones that's just been a little bit smooth that over just a little bit, and that still is going to support it quite nicely. Now the good thing about using the square edge ones or a rectangle means that when I bring my knife in, it's going to be nice and easy to cut. So you could go ahead and mat this. In fact, if you were going to mat it onto cardstock, probably these square shapes or the circle shape, if you've got a die, is going to be perfect. I still think I'm going to be fine. And I'm just running my knife along that edge. And we've got our sort of tree coming out there. We can't see all of the tree, but we can see enough of it to know that it is a tree. Now you could come in and take some of these flowers, maybe decoupage them. I'm just going to keep this quite nice and simple on this one. I'm going to, should we pop it down flat? I think we'll pop it down flat on this one. We'll pop a little bit of all-purpose on there. And I'm actually going to pop it to the side, and like so. So here we've got our tree. Now I was going to put this on the base, but because we've got that little present there, what we can do is bring that up on a foam pad. A little bit of tacky glue, not tacky glue, purple glue stick, and then we can pop this to the side. That's got that gift there with that poinsettia as well. I will add a little bit of ribbon on there. Then if I grab one of these borders, I've still got a sentiment to find yet, so that's going to come in probably around about here. Shall I go with the poinsettia one? I'm going to go with this wider one. And we can just cut this down to 4 inches. Keep those little bits, we still may need them later on. And then we're going to use this as our little stopper. I'm going to pop some 2mm foam pads on there. I think we should be able to get away with just using them without cutting them down, with this being quite a nice chunky border. And I'm putting the 2mm on there just so we've got a nice big step to stop that coming forward. I'm kind of feeling like this card does need something, even though we're going to put those ribbons on, so I might just have a quick snip and bring some of those poinsettias in. So that's going across like so. Let's just make sure we've got that quite straight. There we go. So I'm just using my mat there just to try and keep it even. So if I grab my tree, grab some scissors, and let's just take those presents out. So I might bring those in at the bottom. And I'm not going to bother with the star. I'm just going to roughly cut around these poinsettias. Let's just, I'm not going to bother with those ones behind there. Oops, throw it around a little bit. And this is one of those things you can sit and do while you're watching TV of an evening, if you know in advance that's what you're going to be doing. So we started watching the Gilded Age on, well, I've got a Virgin TV box, and it lets you watch it now, and Game of Thrones. I have watched all of Game of Thrones, but I thought it would be nice to try and watch it again, knowing the outcome. But the Gilded Age, I'm really enjoying it, and Mum would have enjoyed it as well. That really was her thing, and it's written by the same guy that does Downton Abbey, which that was my mum's sort of, if she wanted to listen something but not particularly watch it, that's what she would put on. Or that was one of the things she put on anyway. Like I say, I'm not being too careful about this, but it doesn't matter if I leave any of the background behind because it's going straight on top of that other piece. So like here, I'm going to separate this. And bring it round. Oops. Going to leave that ball that element out will come across. I'm going to just need to take some of this greenery away. Leave that star in. Take that petal away. And it's down to you on what you want to leave in, what you want to take out. But any leaves that are behind you can quite literally just cut away. It doesn't matter if you go over the edge because it will be hidden when you've got it back on top because the image is exactly the same underneath. So this is going to be this piece. Let's just tidy out your corner up a little bit. So that's going to be that piece there, and then we have this corner here. So let's just bring some of that in. Again, you can take as much or as little time as you like with these. And these little books are perfect for you know, all these sort of decoupaging techniques and such. Take that one away, we'll go up there and round. The only thing is remembering where they came from. So that is that piece there. And then we have I think so. That is there. Not sure if we've got another piece. Is that there? That's from there. So I'm going to leave. Oh, I'm going to take this one out of here. Just this one little piece. And then what I'm going to do, I've decided, is cut around those gifts, those presents, and I'm going to pop those on top of the frame. So let's just go right there. So we've got that really roughly cut. Let's get rid of those bits because we know we don't want those. And then here we go with these gifts. And you could go another sort of layer of decoupage if you wanted to. I'm just going to do this one layer just because I haven't planned on doing it, but I think it needs it. This one I am going to be a bit more careful because these are going around the frame at the bottom, although they will overlap. The image a bit. So, but again, we can cut away anything we don't want. Nobody is going to be any the wiser that that was there. And down and round. Sorry, this is not the best, most interesting part of the video, but you can skip ahead if it's a bit boring. I might have to trim some of these presents off, but I shouldn't have to, but we'll see what it looks like. Okay, come on you. There we go. And we have our gifts that we can pop in around the bottom of that tree. And I think what I'm going to do is just take my guillotine, even though I've taken all that time popping them out. I'm going to grab a little piece of white card. Grab that. Right, I'm just going to these forward. I just want to straighten that edge off. I'm just going to bring those in along the bottom, along there. Like I say, you could go in and decoupage them even further if you wanted to, or I could come in with some presents along there. What do we think? Along there. I actually like it along the bottom here. Oh well, change our mind again. So let's use our dotty tape pen on there. We're just going to line that up there, bring that in. These ones we'll use some 2mm foam pads. So apologies on the switch up. Sometimes in my head it looks okay and I think, oh, that's going to be okay if I just do that. And then when it happens, you just realise it needs a little something else just to elevate it and make it a little bit less basic. So that's what I'm going to do. So I know I've got this ornament here. So we can pop this over. Just move that down a little bit because we put that purple glue stick on. It should just move quite nice and easy for me. There we go. And then this one is this one here, I think. Yes. So we'll pop that one. Again, oops, a little bit of purple glue stick. And it's just coming over that frame a little bit, which is quite nice. And then we will have a piece here. Just want a nice little square shape, I think. And really, you don't even have to match these up. You could just go over and pop them on in different places, which will give you a fuller effect on your tree as well. But I did want to try and match them up where I could. Okay, so I'm going to leave that like so. So again, you could put some more in there if we wanted to. Keep that. So it's beginning to look at how I want it to now. Then the good old gold gems. So let's just pop a nice size one on there, like so. And then I want one there. No, we don't. just going to leave it at 1, because if I put 2 there, it's going to be all in a line and that will jar my eye. So the last thing we need then is just that little bit of ribbon, and I'm going to come in with a cute piece of green, because we have got quite a lot of green on this card. And pop that bit off. I'll just use my little bone maker for quickness. This is an old Glitter Girls one. Hunkydory do one of their own. The Hunkydory one is better because it's got movable pegs, so you just choose the size. And that one is probably about 20 years old now. And when they first sort of came out, they were moulded plastic like that before everyone realised it would be better if they weren't. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of tacky glue. I'm going to pop my little ribbon on, and we'll leave that on there for 5 minutes or so just to glue down. But that is card number 1. I'm going to pop that to the side. We'll get set up for card number 2. Okay, so for the second card, I'm going to go with a slightly bigger one, a 5x7 cutting card. So a cutting Z fold card, sorry. So I'm going to take a piece of A4. This is Ink Me cardstock, and I'm going to cut that at 10. And then I'm going to cut that at 7. Okay, if I pop that to this, oh no, I do want it back again. So the next thing I want to do is pop that in to the 2.5, and I'm going to put my blade at 2.5, and I'm going to cut all the way to 7.5. So we've got the blade at 2, we've got the paper in at 2.5, and we're cutting from 2.5 to 7.5. Then we can do our scoring. So if I bring the board in, and at the 2.5, I'm going to score it down to the cut line. At the 5-inch, I'm going to score all the way down, and then what I'm going to do is just bring that round, and the 2.5, I'm going to score it to the cut line again. Okay, so we've got 2.5 down to the cut line, 5.5 all the way down, and then if you haven't turned it around, that will be 7.5 up to the score line. So this is not scored, and this piece here is not scored. Okay, so let's come in with our bone folder. Let's do this piece first of all. Let's fold it in half and get the cardstock moving. And then this one is going to go backwards. So let's just start to ease that over. And that will bring this one down as well. And then gently we're going to burnish that down. Give that a burnish on that side too. Okay, and then we're going to have our card that opens like this. It will go in a 5x7 envelope, as you can see, and it stands like so. Okay. It does stand fairly solidly because it has got that support there. Obviously we have cut into it, so if there is a huge draft, that could be a problem. So I've got a piece of A4 gold memory card, and what I'm going to do first of all is just extend that out, and I'm going to take 2 notches off 7 inches, and that piece there will go into the bit box because I know the length is going to be 7. And these pieces here, these 2 pieces are 2.5 by 7. So I'm going to take another 2 notches or 1/8 of an inch off that 2.5. And I want 2 of those. to go on there. And then if I cut another 2 of those, so because I know that's the width on these 2 pieces here. Okay, and then this here is, I think it's 4.5 off the top of my head. I think it's 4.5 inches. Yeah, 4.5. So we're going to take 2 notches off of that for this piece that goes there, and then this piece is 2.5 again, so take 2 notches off that. So it's pretty much a square on that one. So we'll do that last one again, so 2.5 minus 2 notches, and then 4.5 minus 2 notches. Okay, so this piece is going to go in the bit box for next time. And then we're going to come in with this green first of all. So I'm going to take 2.25 by 6.75, and I'm going to do that twice because I want this to go on these. So 2.25 by 6.75. I want these to go on these outside pieces. Okay. And then I want the foiled text one, which is this one here. Now obviously I want the text going that way, so I'm going to start by cutting that at 2.25, and then we want them 2.25. So these are for these 2 pieces here, just to bring that bit of luxury into my card. 2.25, 2.25. Again, that will go back into the bit box. And then if I bring up my guillotine, and somewhere in here there are the offcuts of the inserts. So forgive me if they've just got a little bit buried. We could use the papers if I can't find them out there. I've buried them right in the bottom, and look, what an empty. Okay. So again, they need, these are just the pieces that I cut off when I'm doing a 6x6 card. So they need to be 2.25 by 4.25. That's that one. And they're similar but not the same. I probably have got one the same, or I might have used it to scribble notes on. Sometimes I do that. We'll have them slightly different. You could use the same ones if you've done a lot of 6x6 cards. But again, so 2.25 by 4.25. And those are going to be those pieces that go in there. Okay, so now we are ready to decorate, and then we can do the topper. So let's just pop that out of the way. Oops. Grab that. It's all going wrong today. So let's pop these. And this, the reason why I decided to do this 5x7 was to use up those bits of insert. Because I like to put a bit of insert on there because it can still be used as an insert, as a normal card. And let's just put this on there. First of all, so yeah, so I'm not wasting the insert. I've got another card out of that insert, and the card can still be used like a card as well. It can still be written on. You could stamp your sentiment on there. All of those good things. Like I say, normally I would use the same one. But I'm not going to go hunting through that pile again. They all coordinate together anyway, so hopefully it will be nice to have a little bit of something different. But see what it looks like. I think it'll be fine. Okay, so again with the dotted tape pen on the papers, then a nice bit of all-purpose. I feel a bit scatty today, I'm not sure why. But hopefully you're getting the sort of idea of what you can do, how you can take it on to the next level and such. If nothing else, this 5x7 card will just give you an idea of how to use up those little bits of insert if you've got some papers and things. And obviously you could be using your beautiful sort of paper pads on here. You know, just find an insert that sort of matches along with it. Let's do this bit first. And actually this is only paper, so if I did find that other insert and I wanted to change it, I could do if I don't like it. So let's just pop that on and in. I really like this part of the card, sort of when the papers go on, it sort of starts to turn from something blank and card-like to something pretty. I like this. So I'm going to use, again, I'm going to be using those frames, those leftover frames. So these books are great for using up your bits, like your frames and such. I mean, you could pattern the foiled cardstock behind them and have them as a decorative feature as well if you wanted to, but they're great for the little books as well. Okay, so let's put that in. And you can see, you can hardly tell really, because the card will be, when it's open, it's on a shelf, it's going to be open and you won't see all of that inside anyway, you'll just see the similar colours. Be interesting to see what it looks like when I take the photos, because that's when I really notice. But also my topper is going to come across there as well, so again it's just going to be quite hidden. Red coming through. You could stick with the green foiled cardstock if you wanted to. You could do all of this in the foiled cardstock if you wanted to. I'm not quite sure why I decided to put tacky all over that. Hey ho. Told you I was feeling scatty today. I think it's the heat. My brain's melting. I'm British, we don't get hot weather here. We're on a like 4th heat wave. And didn't sleep very well last night, it was very hot. I've got an air conditioning unit in my room, in my bedroom. And when Mum was here, I was quite happy to have the window wide open with the hose out. But since she's been gone, it's been really weird. It like I get too much anxiety about it. But there's our card, so you can see it's looking really pretty as it is. Like I say, you can't really notice that those two pieces are different. But if you're making two 6x6 cards, you'd have two pieces the same anyway. And then we want our little book again, and the one that I decided on this time was this one, because I'm going to be sort of cropping it with my circle topper. Now if you want to, you could come in with a die and then die cut this and then stick it on, but I'm going to have a go at cutting around it. It's going to be pretty much hidden anyway, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. But I do want to get the robin in. Actually, I've got that thicker frame there, but I don't like the fact that I've bent that. So let's pop that over there. So I'm going to use the tacky glue again rather than do those foil dots. Keep the place dry. Let's go over that robin don't think it matters that I've cut them out, and there's actually 2 robins on here, so again we could be decoupaging that if we want to. And then what I'm going to do is just use my knife to go around that edge. It is paper, so you don't have to press too hard, but if you wanted to, you could use your dies for this. I mean, you could use your dies, create a frame any way you want it to anyway. Oops, try not to cut into your frame. Yeah, you could use your dies. A lot of Hunkydory's die shapes will correspond. Obviously this is just a circle, but you know, a lot of the topper shapes they have in a die form as well. Or you might want to go with something like with stitched. You know, they've got such a great selection of dies. It's however you want to go. I just thought, for the sake of this video, perhaps it might be faster if I did it this way. Although, as we saw with that first video, that didn't go quite to plan. But I think we got a half decent card out of it, so there we go. Now I can see I have been a little bit choppy around those edges with the knife. So what I can do is just go in with my scissors where I see any bits of white. And just tidy that up a little bit. Just want it to be behind the gold. Just being super careful not to cut into the gold. Now again, I could be decoupaging. I'm not going to be on this one. What I do want to do though is bring in my white gel pen. I'm just going to bring in some highlights to these poinsettias. Just to sort of lift it. I think if you've got one of the little die cut books, they have some little foiled robins in there. I'm not sure which one, because I got it as sort of a... And what I can do is just pop, I'm not going to see it very much, but I'm just going to pop some little white splodges on, and that's going to be my snow. There we go, that will do. If you've got any of the metallic pens, you may be able to pop a little bit of metallic detail on there as well. So this is going to come, I think we'll go around about there. So I'm going to use my all-purpose, just go in flat, popping that one in like so. You may need to pop a little bit more on, but again I think that's going to be strong enough, but you could easily die cut a circle, pop that behind. Let's just put that a little bit straighter because we have got that urn coming down at the bottom. And then what I'm going to do is bring in my essential book of bigger Christmas sentiments. This is a Matastic one, but we're not going to worry about that too much. If you the Adorable Scoreable one, if you wanted it to match, you could go with your Matastic. So because I've used gold, I'm just looking for something in gold that I like the look of, because we've got these sort of browns coming in here as well. We've got the reds. Could go with a Wonderful Friend, Celebrate the Season, Merry and Bright. Let's see what we've got here. We Wish You a Merry Christmas. Oh, here we go, there's another circular one here. This one says, as we approach the 25th of December, I wish you a Merry Christmas filled with moments to remember. So we can pop this one on here. Do I want anything else as a decoration? We have got some more of those borders. I have got a tag there as well. What's this one? We've got Have a Holly Jolly Christmas. And a couple of gems maybe. Let's just see. I'm feeling like that brown is perfect because it kind of matches in with these tones here. Not sure where this one's come from. I'm assuming it's the same kit. Or we could go in with a border of some kind. Let's just I cut that there. Will I have enough? Get that way we would. Okay, so what I'm going to do, just for a bit of decoration on this side, just pop a little bit of tacky glue. Gonna pop that back under there. It's going to go there. A little bit of tacky glue under there as well. Hopefully we can get under this side. Looks like it's always been there. There we go. This one we will pop on some 2mm foam pads. It's the only height we've got on the card so far. So apologies, like I say, I am feeling a bit scatty today, so I do apologise. I did have plans for 3 different cards, not to particularly make 3 cards, but of 3 types of cards that I could do with the book. There we go. I think I might bring that in as well. And pop a 1mm one on there, and then we'll just do a little bit of gold gems on that other side, not too high. Let's pop that there. We will pop a bit of glue on. There we go. I feel quite good that we've used a lot of this kit up. There we go. And then gold gems. I'm going to go with, I'm keeping this plain. You could come in with a shape sentiment to my mum, to my dad, to my neighbour, to whoever you would like that to go to. So there is a space there. I'm going to leave that as a space for that kind of thing. And then I'm going to pop these 2 on here. What I would say with gems, with this sort of style of card, is don't go, I know I've put that 2mm on that side, but there is the space there to take that there. But if you put anything with height underneath here, it can make it really a chunky close. But that is our finished card. So like I say, 5x7 that way, and then it's going to open up like so. You can't even tell that that's different. So I'm not even worrying about that anymore at all. But that is our second card. You could decoupage this, like I say, you could come in, decoupage these robins. You could use some of those die cut robins. You could come in with some more poinsettias around here. Maybe if you've got the poinsettia die, you could pop it in here. You know, so many different ways that you can take that even further. But that's our card number 2. And then if we bring our little card that started out on one journey and went completely different, our little easel card there, little half easel. I'm liking this presence along there. Probably needs another one there maybe, but I'm quite happy with that. So that is our 2 cards for today. Next time, I'm in an hour in really, so you can give me a few guidelines if you like. I've got the festive golden oldies, which I did talk about before. Or I have got that Snow Adorable. I've still got 1 each of each set on there. I know people have asked to see the double step card, how that's made. I'm going to post the link for you for one I made before, and also the one that I made with the little dormouse. I can't repeat that one because I only had a couple of sheets of the pad, but I possibly could make that with maybe one of the other sets, or even part of the kit if you want me to. So you let me know, do you want Snow Adorable or do you want Festive Golden Oldies, and I'll take it from you. I am easy either way because both are beautiful kits, and I know we're going to have a lot of fun playing with them. But thank you so much for watching today. It's been a bit of a harder watch probably, but things can only get better, can't they? But until next time, happy crafting. Bye.